Why the Bear's Tail is Short. Rewritten by K. Venkati Krishnan. It was a very cold day. There was ice on the lake and snow on the branches of trees. Mrs. Fox was going along the road, feeling cold, hungry, and miserable. There was not a single bird or even a mouse to hunt. Suddenly, she saw a man coming along with a string of sledges. The last sledge had a lot of fish. Quick as a flash, Mrs. Fox lay down on the road as if she were dead. The man saw the fox and thought that the fur would make a nice coat for his wife. So he got down and put the fox on the sledge behind him. Very quietly, Mrs. Fox started eating the tasty fish in the sledge. After she had finished, she jumped off the sledge with a big fish in her mouth. That fish was for her supper. On the way to her house, she met Mr. Bear. He too was feeling hungry. When he saw Mrs. Fox with a fine fish in her mouth, he asked her, "Dear Mrs. Fox, do tell me where you found such a fine fish. I love fish, but haven't had a single one this winter." Mrs. Fox replied, "Oh, I caught it." "And how did you catch it?" asked Mr. Bear. "It was very simple. I made a hole in the ice on the lake. Then I stuck my tail into the hole. The fish swam up and got hold of it. I drew my tail out," answered Mrs. Fox. "I'm going to do just the same." "Thank you," said Mr. Bear. In those days, bears had long, respectable tails. Off went Mr. Bear to make a hole in the ice and stick his tail into it. He sat and waited patiently for the fish to bite his tail. Mrs. Fox went about her business. Suddenly, in the evening, she remembered Mr. Bear. "I must go and see what has happened to him," she thought. There stood the bear with his long tail in the lake. It was a very cold day, so his tail was frozen. "Oh, Mr. Bear," cried Mrs. Fox, "your tail is frozen." The bear tried with all his might to get his tail out, but the ice was too hard for the tail to come out. He pulled, and